Welcome back, everyone. In the last episode, we discussed the Kapikulu system as an institution and what became of the young boys and men after being recruited into it. In this episode, we shall look into Kapikulu Suvari or Jara, literally the halves of the cavalrymen of the gate slaves, which was most probably founded by Murad I as a royal guard unit for the Sultan. According to legend, the Kapikulu Corps was set up by Kara Halin Chandale of the Chandale family. The members of the Kapikulu Suvari are often confused with the Timariyat Sipahi. Logically, the 1st Regiment, the Silahtar, was manned initially from royal servants and pages. Its initial strength probably did not exceed 100 men. Subsequently, following the Islamic Seljuk traditions of enlisting the sons of the leading aristocratic families, a 2nd regiment, the Sipah, was founded. In a short time, both regiments became very attractive assignments due to the high salaries and proximity to the Sultan. Later, 4 other regiments, the Bölükati Erba, was founded simultaneously. 2, the Ulufeci, or salaried men, and 2, Gureba, poor or stranger, regiments. They were commonly called the Altı Bölük Halkı, literally people of the 6 regiments. During the military reorganization of Mehmet II, the force gained its permanent character and organization. The Sipah became the most prestigious regiment, followed in turn by the Silahtar, the Ulefecis, and the Gurebas. At the same time, the recruitment policy changed drastically, and the sons of the nobles were taken out of the recruitment pool. Mehmed the Conqueror introduced merit, valor, and loyalty as the guiding criteria for enlistment. Pages of the palace school, the Enderun İçoğlanları, and youths from other royal schools were assigned, according to their talent, merit, and age, to the first 2 regiments. Meritorious and veteran Janissaries were assigned also to the 1st regiments as an award, which amazed contemporary Western observers. The last 2 regiments, the Gurebas, were filled with military personnel and volunteers, who routinely displayed extreme bravery and valor in combat. There was also a promotion system between regiments. For example, if the cavalrymen in the low-ranking regiments showed merit and proved themselves in combat, they would be promoted to the higher-ranking regiments. During the 16th century, the sons of the Suvaris gained access to the regiments in an apprenticeship system. The Sipahi army's organizational structure was very simple. The Bölük, which means file or section, was the basic unit, which originally consisted of 8 to 10 cavalrymen, but later reached levels of 25 to 30. The other units below the regiment were temporary tactical formations, and there were 5 junior and mid-ranking officer positions, as well as 1 scribe position within each regiment. These officers were commissioned within each regiment according to valor, merit, seniority, and availability of vacant positions. But the regiment commanders were generally assigned from the palace. The numerical strength increased continuously from the mid-15th century of 8,000 men to 20,000 men in 1609. The increase affected the Sipah and Silahtar regiments, while the strength of the Ulefecis and the Gurebas remained relatively unchanged at about 1,000 men each. But the available combat strength doubled if the apprentices and armed servants were added in total. With the increase in regiments and in strength, the Suvaris became more of an elite corps than a royal guard unit. Their weapons were nearly the same as the Sipahs. But their armor and mounts were of the better quality. Later, during the last quarter of the 16th century, about 10% of the Suvaris began to use firearms in addition to their traditional weapons. The Suvaris, having many former Janissaries within their ranks, were probably more open to the firearms than the Sipahis of the provinces. The cavalrymen of the first 4 regiments brought armed servants with them according to their respective salary. They always moved with the Sultan or the commander-in-chief and positioned themselves around him in battle. The Silahtar regiment was also tasked to monitor road building and maintaining activity of the engineers and auxiliary units. All regiments stayed in their assigned positions during battles to protect the Sultan. High-ranking officials All regiments stayed in their assigned positions during battles to protect the Sultan. High-ranking officials, the treasury, and the standard. However, they often took part in the combat in the final moments to reinforce successful attacks or to save the day. Some of the Suvaris were also tasked to perform career duties. We also know that the Suvari companies were attached frequently to various types of provincial expeditionary forces as reinforcements. The main reason behind these assignments was to enforce discipline on and to control the provincial units. Additionally, the government tried very hard to keep the military readiness of the Suvaris high by keeping them busy. For example, 2 Suvari companies from the Mcbride regiments were assigned to reinforce a mission of the Archangels into Hungary in 1475. During peacetime, only Sipa and Silahtar formations remained in and around Istanbul. All the other regiments were deployed into nearby provinces. This was a function of the limited amounts of grazing pastures around the city. However, some of their personnel were signed away on temporary border duties. They also performed several administrative duties, which tax collection was the most important. Tax collection was an important and profitable duty, which was open to corruption and eventually destroyed the organization. In addition to these classical tasks during the final years of the Suleiman I, they were ordered to monitor the loyalty of the Supahis and provide security in the provinces. Even though Janissaries also carry out similar duties due to their long history of presence and established relations, the Suvaris remained more powerful in provinces in contrast to their weakness in Istanbul. The Suvaris and the Janissaries together were used initially to keep provincial army units loyal, but later, sultans and high officials began to use the Suvaris against the Janissaries to counterbalance their political power. This policy created an everlasting tension and hostility between both corps. Even though Suvaris had high salaries and prestigious positions, they were never able to gain more political power than the Janissaries. Their contribution to the Ottoman military might remain limited.